Hey everybody. Yeah, I got about 26 minutes to go before I clock in. Yeah, basically, it's time for the pause there, but basically, I don't start till 9:30 like I mentioned in a channel update. So, instead of being able to get a dollar ride, which I should have done, I didn't do it. Anyway, I wanted to come on here and talk about, well, what sounds like I'm not saying it's a majority, but if you go by percentage wise, and there's a map graphic as far as, people favoring who they would want to win in the Super Bowl, you could definitely tell that 95% of people that watched it last night or yesterday were not too thrilled about it. True, I'm not saying it was a bad game. Not saying it was a bad game. It just was, I guess, slow and methodical. Some of the commentators even said it was kind of like old school, which, if you're an old school fan of football, you would appreciate. But I don't think honestly it was the slowness of the game, the slow methodical pace that the game went at. And I don't think it was the old school style as well. I think what it was, ladies and gentlemen, was the fact that as soon as New England scored that field goal and then scored another field and then scored the touchdown, I'm going to put it this way. I think as soon as everybody saw New England, like I said, score that field goal, we pretty much knew that it's just going to be the same old once again. I mean, true, there were some bright spots throughout. Don't get me wrong. I mean, the Rams' defense did look good at times when it needed to, but it just felt like the same old. It just felt like the same episode on repeat. It's like a team gives New England the ball. Basically, it's like I said, it just felt like it was on repeat. It's like someone gives New England the ball, New England scores, another team tries to play them, and an even kill gets close to beating them. Doesn't happen. And I notice a pattern too, and maybe I'm wrong about this, but it's almost like every few years, it's almost like every few years, New England loses one only to win it back the following year. And then probably repeat the process the next year. So it's almost like every year or every 2 years, New England wins one or two Super Bowls, and then they lose the next one. And this further confirms what I've said before about the fact that the NFL has basically become something that they need to fix, and that is sports entertainment. More emphasis on the entertainment than the sport. Now, true, they are more legitimate when it comes to the physicality and the injuries and all that. Don't get me wrong. But what it is that really ticks a lot of people off is they see the fact that, well, as one person commented in a video that I did talking about this, fans are starting to notice that the players are just becoming performers. That's all they are. It's like it's kind of like when you compare it to WWE. You have this talented independent wrestler. You have this talented up and coming on the rise wrestler, man or woman, that is all about the sport of wrestling, all about taking the sport of wrestling to another level, all about trying to put less emphasis on entertainment and more on athleticism and what can be done in the ring, and give it an actual sports feel. But as soon as that man or woman gets signed to WWE, they try to keep a little of that with them, even when they go to the NXT brand. But basically, as soon as they go to WWE, period, and whether they start off with NXT or get shot straight to the main roster, that whole keep the sport of wrestling alive and be more about the athleticism than the performance, the entertainment, that goes out the window, and they turn a complete 180. And they start to support more of the performance, more of the entertainment over what they had preached before. And again, that's kind of like what you see with these athletes, with these football stars. They start off in college as wanting to play for the love of the sport because they love football. They've been playing it probably most of their life. But all of a sudden, that all goes out the window the moment they enter the NFL. The moment they enter the NFL, it's like, again, just like with wrestling, they try to keep true to what they once were, but slowly and surely, that starts to go away or be put on the shelf, and know more about we got you in a commercial, or we're going to make you the big star of the league, stuff like that. And that's what really gets on fans' nerves, and I think that's what's happening. I mean, the moment, like I said, that New England scored that first point in the game, the first 3 points, everybody pretty much knew, especially the way they were marching down the field, that despite how good the Rams might be defensively and offensively, that it pretty much was the end of the game right there. And that's why the slow methodicalness isn't really to blame, and it's not the old school Smash Mouth style. It's the fact that we've seen this same song and dance over and over and over again, and it's like, enough is enough. And to top that all off, nobody wanted the freaking halftime show that they gave. I mean, what was the only headlining person they had? What? Adam Levine back with Maroon 5. That's about it. And even that's coming under fire because of the fact that he was able to go shirtless. But yet people complained about Janet Jackson having a mishap with her outfit. I mean, honestly, I think if you would have just had Travis Scott be there, which is probably more of a attractive name to people that want to see a halftime performance. There you go. That would have probably benefited them better. I mean, I'll be honest with you. Usually I watch the halftime shows, but this was one year I didn't. This year instead, I watched freaking WWE's Return of Halftime Heat. That's what I did. And it was more entertaining than the Super Bowl. I hate to say that. It was more entertaining than the Super Bowl itself, or at least the halftime show. And it's starting to sprinkle a little bit. But yeah, it was more entertaining than the halftime show. And that's saying something. That is saying something when WWE, who's been ridiculed for a lot of the things they do, put on a better halftime show than NFL. And of course it did help that they had their NXT guys in there, the top 6 NXT guys, and according to Alex, aka Deluxe Man, they allowed them to kind of throw the gloves off and kind of feel like they were back on the independents, if you catch my drift. But again, the point is, when it comes to the overall flow of the Super Bowl, it's like as soon as you saw the field goal, in the way New England marched down, it's like you kind of knew the inevitable was going to happen. I mean, even though New England even though it was 3-0 for a while and it kind of gave you a glimmer of hope, you pretty much knew New England was going to probably end up winning, especially when they scored that touchdown after the Rams got a field goal to tie it. It's like you pretty much knew as soon as that touchdown was scored, that's it. It's done. Even though, like I said, the Rams showed some brightness, you pretty much knew. Same old song and dance. Heck, you know what? Let's be honest. If you're a wrestling fan and you also like the NFL, you're pretty much looking at New England as being the John Cena or the Roman Reigns of the NFL. I'll put it this way. They're kind of like the tag team of Reigns and Cena. The Patriots team as a whole is Cena. The Tom Brady is like the Roman Reigns, or vice versa. And just like fans are sick and tired of them always being in the spotlight, them always being on top, it's the same with New England. And if this pattern that I mentioned earlier continues into the upcoming year, and the upcoming season, then you could predict that New England's going to end 2020, the 2019-2020 season, the 2019-2020 season, if you will, with another Super Bowl. You can pretty much predict that already. I mean, what is the NFL trying to do? What is Roger Goodell trying to do, huh? Get Brady to 7 Super Bowls so he can have the record? So that finally he'll retire knowing that he's the greatest of all time? He is. This legitimizes it? And let me explain something else as well. Commentators at CBS, NBC, ABC, the NFL Network, ESPN, who are you guys joking? Oh, Tom Brady takes this whole, they're never going to make it again. They're not that good as they used to be. What do you take that mentality from and saying that's what's motivating him? Tom Brady is a good player, don't get me wrong. And I will admit he does have experience when it comes to playing in these kind of situations and knowing how to turn it on when it needs to be turned on. Whether or not he conveniently gets help from the officials or not, or even from the freaking commissioner or not, that's another story. But he is a good player. The thing is, you put that aside, no one's saying anything really bad about Tom, except, like I said, for those certain moments where conveniently or controversially he gets help from officials or he gets backed up by Roger Goodell in some way. Nobody, besides those situations, no one's really bad-mouthing Brady because they know he's good. But what they're basically trying to tell Tom and New England and Bill Belichick and Roger Goodell is enough's enough. This is not the NFL. Here's the thing. People look at the NFL as being that one kind of sport that has a tournament-like atmosphere to where it's basically any team can win, any team can succeed. They do not want to have to go into an NFL season, that being the fans, knowing that the team that won it last year is pretty much favored to win it this year. Well, pretty much it's just going to end up winning this year. They don't want that. They want unpredictability. And there's a lot of fans that are hoping that not one, but 2 Patriot players announce their retirement. One being one that's been rumored in the game last night, and that's Rob Gronkowski. Sorry if I pronounced it wrong, but Gronk. And of course the other being Tom Brady. It's like, hey, if you guys announce your retirement, to fans, it'll be like, hey, if they announce their retirement, hey, more power to us. We won't have to worry about them anymore. And that's pretty much the truth. But I don't know what's going to happen. As far as I know, Brady's probably going to play until he gets that 7th Super Bowl victory, and then he'll probably go out on top as the greatest of all time. That's probably the planned mentality. I mean, a lot of people look at the fact that Cena's not seen so much in WWE as much, but like I said, there's no doubt that either this year or even next year, they're planning to give him his 17th, and then he can go out on top as the greatest. See what I'm saying? This is a method to the madness, and it's got to stop. Sooner or later, what's going to happen if they keep encouraging Brady to play, he's going to end up getting injured to the point that that one injury is going to spell the end because his body can't take it anymore. And I think, again, getting back to what I'm talking about, I think that's why people got bored with the Super Bowl last night. It's like I said earlier, and I know I'm repeating myself, but as soon as they scored that winning field goal, oh, it's like you, in the way they marched down the field to do that, you pretty much knew that was it. Either it was that or the touchdown after the Rams tied it with their field goal. Pretty much you knew that was it. It was like, whatever. It's like, whatever. We know the result. We know the end game. I mean, heck, you had people rather watching the Puppy Bowl on Hallmark, I believe, or USA Network, one of them, instead of the Super Bowl. People even regretting they should have saw the Puppy Bowl instead of that. Because they're sick and tired of the same song and dance, and it just felt slow and methodical. And it's like, enough is enough. And again, to all the commentators and analysis at ESPN, ABC, NBC, CBS, Fox, NFL Network, if you playing up the fact that, oh, everybody doubted Tom Brady, made him the underdog, and he loves that mentality and fires him up and makes him want to work harder and makes this possibility and makes him wanting to get this Super Bowl victory that more important, this specific one. Who are you kidding? Are you taking freaking lessons from WWE's commentators? I mean, honestly. Stupid. Look, again, I'm nothing against New England. They're a good team, but I think what the fans are saying through the reactions, a majority of them, except for maybe the Patriots fans up in the Northeast and various parts of the country, I think a majority, that 95%, is saying enough's enough. You know, they're just saying that's about it. They're saying enough's enough of the same old crap. It needs to stop. Sorry about that, but like I said, they're basically saying enough's enough of the same old crap. It needs to stop. And honestly, I don't blame them. And it's not because Kansas City didn't get in, and it's not because the Rams didn't get in. It's basically because we've seen the same song and dance. It's kind of like when New England marched down the field against Kansas City. Yeah, Kansas City came back and put it into overtime, but guess what? New England still won, right? Heck, everybody's even calling that coin toss in that overtime of the AFC Championship controversial. And there's going to be a lot of people that are going to bring up, oh, the reason now it all makes sense. The reason they didn't make that call of the pass interference in the Rams-Saints game is because they wanted to give Brady someone he could beat easily, someone he can intimidate. I don't know. All I know is fans are getting sick and tired of the same old song and dance, and it needs to stop. It needs to stop, okay? Tom Brady, if you do watch this, do yourself a favor. Consider what you're getting yourself into in the future. Consider your future for your family. Because honestly, you keep doing this, and it's going to take one play, and that's it. You're done. There's one play that's going to get you injured, and that's it. You're done. And I think you know that. So take into consideration your future. And it's not because we as fans are hoping, well, if you retire, it's going to make it easier. No. We're just getting sick and tired of the same old song and dance. That's all. So that's all I'm going to say on it, guys. I'm going to get into work now. But let me know what you guys think. But yeah, Fans' reactions to the Super Bowl yesterday pretty much said it all. Peace out. God bless. Let me know what you guys think below.